To welcome everybody to our town board meeting. Could we all stand for the invocation? Nancy is going to use the invocation.
Father God, we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask your peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray, as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We ask this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to
the republic for which it stands,
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Sandy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Cavaldi, Councilwoman Schaefer, Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora. Here. Supervisor Esposito.
Present. Also present is our town attorney, Gerard Parisi. Okay. Meeting is called to order at 7:09, excuse me. Nobody changed the clock yet. Privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business, although there is no official time constraint. Speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There should be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter in discussion with the person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the portion of the meeting referred to as council member comments. Privilege of the floor is open up at 7:10.
Just stand up, tell me your name. Mike Caputo, I live on Pangburn Road. I came to the meeting here in regards to, I have a issue on I live on the corner of Reuter and Pangburn Road. Over the period of years now, with the development that's in the back, I've experienced excessive amount of flooding or wetness on my property over here, and I was advised to come to the town board just to make notice of it and see if they could do anything. At this point right now, you know, I have excessive erosion on my property and excessive amount of water, and what it's basically been over the last 5 years is my property on the Reuter Pegburn side, that field over there, it's basically wet 90% of the year. I have constant water coming down from the back part, and I didn't want to make any changes without at least coming to the town board and advising them that, you know, it's due to, we have a retention pond that exits off onto my property, and the rerouting of the original creek or stream that came down through used to be on the other side of Reuter Drive, now it's on my side. And like I said, I just want to come to here and make notice to see if I could have, I guess, the highway superintendent come over and make, you know, some kind of evaluation and see where we could take it. And again, too, I'm here just to make sure that any changes I make won't have any effect on the town's situation there. But you know, I just, you know, just want to be put on the record for that, and that be advised, you know, when I can, Doug lives across the street from me, I can have him, you know, he can advise, you know, get a hold of me, and I can meet you anytime for, you know, for that. But like I said, I just would rather have the town come over and take a look at it and make an evaluation on the situation first.
Okay. We'll have Nick and myself and Doug will come over and take a look
Yeah,
at it.
anytime, like I said, just wanna make sure, I don't wanna create a problem more than it was, so
Okay,
it'd be good.
I'll
Okay,
get a hold of him tomorrow and we'll take a ride over and see what can be done.
okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any others? Okay, guess we'll close the floor up at 7:12. Okay, department committee reports, highway, Nick is not here tonight, he's not feeling well. He called me and he said there's, other than this problem we have right now, there's nothing, but I did get an email from Mike Grippo up on, where does he live? Overlook. He's complaining about the road is starting to wash out and the culvert needs to be replaced. Nick and I looked at it last year along with the county and they said that they were gonna take care of it this year, so we're gonna have to get a hold of Joe Landry here, who's the new head of the Schenectady County Highway Department, and we'll go up and take a look and see what's going on up there. Other than that, he said there's no other problems in the town that he's aware of. Okay, code enforcement. Let's see here. Let's see, total permits issued 2. This is from Tom Verini, our code enforcement officer. Permit issues 2. Permit fees collected $50, inspections 11, code zoning inspections 2, fire inspections 0, final building inspections 0, certificate of occupancy compliance, bank deposit report April, May, $430, check with supervisor's account $900, checkbook balance as of May 14, 2019, $83.74. Activities of zoning, working on complaint as needed, working on planning as needed, working on permit, final inspection as needed. One other thing, there was a stop work order issued by Tom. I went down with him, we were off of Birchwood Drive, where those 2 trailers are. There was a notice years ago, I think when, if I'm not mistaken, when Melanie was here as a supervisor, the one trailer was deemed uninhabitable and it was supposed to come down. It never did. We found out that he is trying to rebuild it, and he was putting petitions up inside. The thing is in deplorable shape and really uninhabitable. And Tom issued a stop work order on it, and he red tagged it that night. I went down with him, so we haven't heard from him. He's been trying to get a hold of him. There has been no response from him whatsoever. So he's got pictures of it if anybody wanted to see it. What it looks like, it's really in deplorable shape, and it shouldn't be, should come down, it should have come down years ago, but it hasn't. Other than that, is there any questions for Tom that I can answer?
No, I'm good.
Everybody good? Okay, George Mead's not here tonight, but he does have a report here. Gallons pumped, looks like 1,228,400 gallons per day, $40,940. Permit issues 0. Ross valve repaired on Rooter Drive, booster pump pressure reducing valve. Valve was damaged by broken parts of foam from the declining mixer at Rooter Drive tank. Normal monitoring of water quality and uses. Telephone calls, office work, plant inspections required. Reporting performed. That was issued from George Mead. Any questions that I could answer for George?
No, okay.
Okay. Let's see. Ben, you're up.
Another quiet month. No calls, no complaints, no lost dogs. It's got to be all this rain we're having, keeping them in. That's it. Short and
It's always
sweet.
quiet. That's
Short and
what we
sweet. Yeah, it is quiet. Yep.
All right, any questions for Ben?
No.
Okay, buildings and grounds. Richard Tollner's not here tonight, and, do we have a report from, the judge?
No.
Don't have a report from her. Buildings and grounds, we completed, as you know, all of the LED lighting around the town hall and the state police barracks. We met with Rise Engineering, with George Mead, myself, and Rise Engineering, who got us the grant for the town hall and the state police building, convert over to LED lighting, and we looked at the pump house on Dwaynesburg Road and on Giver Church to replace the outside lighting with LED lights. They're gonna provide the grant for it, so it looks like we probably will do that. It's not gonna be a tremendous cost savings to it, but every little bit helps. So we're waiting to, that's probably gonna be done sometime in May, or not May, June. He told me that they would be able to do that. Let's see, the roof on Gifford Church Road was, on the pump station was blown off during that terrible windstorm we had there about a month and a half ago. The insurance company paid for it, we filed a claim with them, and we replaced the entire roof on the pump station, so that's been completed. Let's see if there's anything else. No, that's it for town hall, and any questions for me?
No.
No. Okay, move along then. I guess that's it for committee reports. Presentations, we had none. Okay, we'll get into the public hearing. As you know, that last month we opened up a public hearing on the comprehensive plan. This is going to be a public hearing to allow comments regarding the proposed amended comprehensive plan dated February 7th, continuation from last month. I might add that there was a question as to why we went through the comprehensive plan again. I'll give you some insight onto what transpired over the years. Back, I don't know, probably 5 years ago, when the comprehensive plan was presented to the town board, we worked on the comprehensive plan. I think Doug was on at that time, myself, Bob Myers, Joe Jasinski, and Mike Joyce. We were reviewing it and going through and changing things in it on our own. And we got to the final 3 chapters, and there was a lengthy discussion on it, and there was a refusal to delete or even go over any of the provisions in that portion of the plan. The plan was never passed. The comprehensive plan was never passed back then. When Bob Myers was the supervisor, we had discussed it, and we had asked that the comprehensive plan be reviewed, and a committee was formed. I think Melanie was in charge at the time, but she couldn't handle the thing for obvious reasons. She had a new job and wasn't going to be able to, but she did contribute on the revision committee for it. We appreciate everything the committee did. They met for many months, went over the comprehensive plan chapter by chapter. I want to thank them for all of the work that they did on it. The meetings were open to the public. Anybody could have attended them. And that was one of the reasons that the comprehensive plan was redone again, because it was never passed at the last, when it was presented to the town board. I think it was maybe 6 years ago. So they revised it, they went through it. The town board was not involved in it, other than we selected the committee, headed by Jack White. He was the chairman of it. and I think he did an excellent job, and I just want to commend the committee on all of the work that they put into it. There was a diverse group on it. We had Ben Jackaruso, our former council member, who understands town business. He was on the town board for a few years. Doug Thorpe has been on the planning board for forever, so he understands all of the zoning and the planning and what goes on in the town. Jack is on the GRC, he's the chairman of it. So we had Melanie was our former supervisor. I think Paul was on it too. He was our former supervisor. So we had people on the comprehensive plan that have been here probably for generations, some of them anyway. So I think they did an excellent job, and I just want to commend them again. And if there is any questions on it, you know, keep in mind that we do have other town business to do. So if we're going to get into a lengthy conversations on it, we are restricted with time. So, Jack? Do you have any comments, Jack?
No, just that, you know, we met for a year, you asked us to update it, and we did have some senior members from the town on it, but we also had, like Ben, and we had Jennifer, who's not involved. That was one of the issues that different members said to me, if we could get new people, new blood, new ideas also. So we had people who were seasoned, been on the comprehensive plan before, they understood the comprehensive plan, they understood zoning, but we also had new people that were involved, and everyone worked well together. It was a simple thing that we went through. Even like Ben said, we didn't agree on everything, so we just did a majority vote on what we were going to change in the comprehensive plan, and it went very well. I mean, it still took a year to read over the whole thing and update it, but I commend everybody. Jen, she was amazing. Without her, I'd still be trying to divvy out and get the thing ready and presented to the town board. She was absolutely amazing. So, and I'd like to commend.
Yeah, Jen did all the transcribing and all the updating of the whole plan. She put a lot of time in on it.
So,
Thank you.
and then when we completed it, we turned it over to town board for a public hearing, exactly what's going on now, so
If there is any questions about it, I appreciate it if you could give some insight onto it. It's not for, we're gonna get in a big debate about it, but there's questions on it. I've read over the plan myself, so I don't know if everybody else has, I'm assuming they have. So if there is any questions as to why things were changed or what was done, we can certainly try to address them to keep everybody informed on it. I guess we can open up the public hearing on it.
Supervisor
7:25.
Esposito? Yes, I would like to speak on it, and Greer Pomeroy will follow me and has a few words to speak on it too. May I pull the podium out so it's more accessible? Thank you. With all these acclimates, I'm not sure I should speak at all. Well, this is a pretty heavy thing. Okay, let me get behind that. I have some written comments that I can pass out, but maybe I should wait until I've talked and give you a copy of it at the end. And, okay. Let me begin. My name is Dave Geisinger. I'm chairman of PIAC. I present thoughts that seek to serve the common good of our people of the town. I offer thoughts on the comprehensive plan to the town board, to you in the audience here, and to those not here. I'd like to introduce Greer Pomeroy, who's also on PIAC committee with me. We have 3 other members of the PIAC committee that we met with last night. The Princetown Environmental Advisory Committee, or PAC, was established by local town law on June 19, 1975. The local law directs PAC in Section 5, Item 1, to advise the town board on matters of environmental quality, and in Item 7, it states to recommend to the town board appropriate and desirable changes in existing local laws and ordinances. Now, I'm kind of curious I'm just curious of those of us in the room here. If I'd like to see a show of hands of those of you who have read the 2019 draft plan. Just a show of hands. You read. Okay, that's pretty good. Thank you. And also, that 31-page document, how many of you have read the 2013, I thought it was an approved plan because it's dated October 29, 2013, approved by town board. But you say it was not approved by the town board, I just thought it looked like it was. Okay, so who's read the 2013 plan? Wow, that's a pretty good show of hands too. Thank you guys. Great. New York, I want to talk just a moment about public participation in the beginning here. New York Municipal Law, New York State, Article 272-A addresses public participation in the comprehensive plan process. It states in Item 1E, the participation of citizens in an open, responsible, and flexible planning process is essential to the designing of the optimum town comprehensive plan. It further states in Item 6A of that law, the town board shall hold one or more public hearings or other meetings as it deems necessary to assure full opportunity for citizen participation in the preparation of such plan or amendment. And in addition, the town board shall hold one or more public hearings prior to adoption of such proposed plan or amendment. I just want to present a brief overview of the two plans. Comparing goals, page 31 of the most recent draft plan lists 7 goals, with the most well-known one being preserve the rural character of Princetown, which is of course in both plans. Page 57 and 58 of the 2013 comprehensive plan, and I'm referring to the 2013 comprehensive plan as the most, as that document that was sort of the in process that the town board was. It was over a period of 6 years, starting in 2008 and culminating in 2013 that plan was developed. So on page, that plan lists 11 goals compared to the other 7. The 2013 comprehensive plan contains section 13, strategies and recommended actions, that provides 13 pages of guidelines, recommended actions on implementing each of the 11 goals, and listed. The draft comprehensive plan does lack a similar section 13 that would provide measures and policies and strategies to implement the goals of the comprehensive plan. In these few minutes, I hope to convince you that the draft comprehensive plan needs further improvement and expansion to become a plan that will attempt to identify what the community of Princetown will look like, that is, its goals, objectives, and principles, and how the town will get there, that is, its standards, land use regulations, and actions to take. In these few minutes, I hope to persuade you that section 13 of the 2013 plan is not too restrictive. I hope to encourage you to ask the Comprehensive Plan Committee to do a thorough review of section 13 of the older plan, to modify and incorporate portions of it into this plan. The approved 2013, well, I say approved because you said, I correct myself, it was not approved, you said. The 2013 plan, section 13, provided extensive strategies and recommendations for achieving the goals set forth. Since these strategies and recommendations are not yet included in the proposed comprehensive plan, let us look briefly at some of the recommendations set forth in the 2013 plan and see if there be any common ground for the committee to include many of the recommendations from that plan. So I want to talk a little bit about community character, and then I want to talk a little bit about agriculture. In community character in section 13.01, the goal is, quote, to preserve the rural character of Princetown. Most residents of our town likely agree with the defining of community character listed here as being low-density residential development mixed with farms and open spaces, small businesses clustered in commercial zones, creation of mixed-use hamlet/town centers, absence of big box stores and major developments, country setting, friendly and quiet, peaceful, private, safe, farms and small town feel. Isn't that a great definition? Section 13.01A4 presents an alternative subdivision layout using minimum lot sizes versus using average density to achieve the same layout of houses while preserving valuable natural resources as open space. Section 13.02A7 calls this approach the use of conservation or clustered subdivisions. Figure 19 of page 61 of the 2013 plan shows an example of this type of subdivision development that is a win-win for the developer and a win-win for the town residents. And I'd like to pass out a description, this little diagram to show you what I'm talking about here. Sandy? And here's a copy for the two missing councilmen. And Lou? Thank you. Nora? Nicole? Doug? Thank you. And I have a few extra copies here for the audience if you'd like to take a copy, take one. Here's a couple extra copies here and over here. Sure. Okay, great. So in step one, it just shows a piece of land and what the natural characteristics of it are. In step two, it shows how that land might be divided into subdivision using today's subdivision standards. In section 3, it shows the same land, but putting the houses where they most fit into the land and yet preserving open space and farmland. And so it's a win-win for the developer because he spends less money developing the road system and building the homes. And it's a win-win for the residents because they gain open space around their homes. Yeah, so that is a concept that was put forth in the 2013 plan, section 13. And it would have been a perfect subdivision layout for the 14 approved residential lots that Robert Frost started building on 10 years ago between Weast Road and Reynolds Road. There were 14 lots on 145, 150 acres of land he had purchased from a man there years ago. Now I want to talk just a little bit about agriculture and then I want to wrap it up. Both the 2013 comprehensive plan and the draft 2019 plan have nearly identical goals here. Quote, remain farm friendly by supporting / preserving farmlands and encouraging agricultural opportunities, end quote. The 2013 comprehensive plan section 13 has 9 ideas listed for preserving and promoting agriculture. We do have a scattering of cropland, hay fields, pastures, and forest harvesting in the town. The farm along Route 7, where the Normanskill crosses, provides a scenic backdrop for anyone driving that section of road. Productive farmland is irreplaceable. Once farms have been subdivided and developed, they are gone forever. So let's try to keep that farm on Route 7 in agricultural production forever. I mentioned here public participation is lacking so far, and I'm sorry, Lou, that counters what you said, and maybe I stand corrected right here. You did state that there's been an opportunity over the months for somebody to attend the comprehensive plan committee meetings that was open to the public, and I didn't take advantage of it. And a lot of people that maybe should have taken advantage of it didn't take advantage of it. So, to me, it didn't seem like there was much public participation, but maybe I stand corrected. So, having shared these thoughts on the two plans, in closing, I wish to share 3 thoughts for us to consider moving forward. First, I asked the town board to direct the comprehensive plan committee to finish the plan by developing the strategies, recommendations, and actions to implement each of the goals stated in the plan. Otherwise, develop a section 13 complementary to the section 13 that was in the 2013 plan. And because that plan, the 2013, did provide a blueprint for achieving the goals, and so this plan has yet to show that blueprint. Second, I asked the town board to make the comprehensive plan more representative of the town. Perhaps include a representative from PIAC or from somebody in this room here tonight, perhaps. And thirdly, doing this provides a broader public participation in this important process for our town. The comprehensive plan is so important. Third, can we amend or modify the existing comprehensive plan? And the state law on comprehensive planning, section 272A, does talk about amending plans, not just creating new plans, but amending plans. So I hope this sharing is beneficial to serving the goals and the needs of the people of Princetown. Thank you very much for your attendance to what I was having to say. Thank you very much. And Greer, I yield the floor to you.
I just have a couple of brief comments. First, I want to say thanks to all those who put in a number of hours drafting the new document. It reads well, and yet appears unfinished. The dictionary in my house defines the word plan as a design for action, and that I don't see. I think it needs to be added to the draft, including the following. And I'm a detail person, which could drive some people crazy, but just to try to help out on editing, on page 3, the table of contents, there's some 3-digit numbers, but there aren't 3 digits worth of pages. So if somebody could reconcile the table of contents with the actual page numbers. Page 6, the 4th paragraph, begins, Princetown's comprehensive plan is intended to provide a reasoned framework for further growth, and I'm just asking to have that framework added to the end of the document. And also page 27, fire services, the 4th, fire services, please add parenthesis Pine Grove in parenthesis after Rotterdam District 5, because many of us know it as Pine Grove and might not recognize the other name. Between page 31 and the appendix, please add a design for action, and at least like maybe just a reprint of the environmental and agricultural parts of the old part 13. So that would be like pages 62 through 64. Those were just my thoughts. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay. Did you all get it?
Oh, yeah, what document was that on page 62, you said the revised plan?
The February this year, new 2019 plan. Yeah. So did you ever have to pass? Does everybody have? I did give them.
That actually opens up.
Oh, I
Where
won't
you do.
bother
I was gonna tell you
I'm not gonna
that.
bother coming to you, but thank you. Please do that.
You're welcome. Here you go. We'll get it from them. No, we'll get it from them.
Doug, you got any comments?
Yeah, I do. Doug Thorpe, I am a member of the comp plan, and the 3 previous to that, there was a little oversight, Lou. I think there was a little confusion. 2 comprehensive plans ago, there was some discrepancies in the adoption of that plan. It was brought to my attention, this plan under 13 was adopted by the town board. It was resolution 13-182. And it was on October 29th of 2013. So the plan that's in place now is an adopted plan to the town. So I just want to clarify that the document before that, the previous comprehensive plan, there was issues and that plan was never, adopted. So I just wanted to clarify that. This 13 plan was adopted by the town board, so that's my only comment.
Supervisor?
Yes, Doug is right about that. The original plan was not passed.
Correct.
Correct,
That's right. The
Right.
original plan was not
right.
passed.
Right.
The other
And you
one
guys,
was,
some of
that
it
we
was
and
revised,
the town board started to revise
yeah,
when Bob Myers was here.
yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So
And
just,
then, and after that was passed, we felt, it was felt by the town board that more needed to be revised, hence why you put us together
Yeah.
and where we are now.
But the original plan was never passed.
The original one, that was such the hot topic back
That
in
was
2011, that was not passed.
Yes.
That's right, it was
That is-
presented, I think, when you.
That is
when
correct.
Nick
Yeah.
was supervisor.
That is correct. No, me.
You.
And there was a lot of controversy with it, and, you know, it didn't
Oh,
go
I
too
remember.
far. And then then another group of residents got together, and we reviewed it again. And we made the changes necessary in order to get through. And since then, it's needed changing again. And things have changed, and there's a lot of good things in the current plan that was submitted to you. We spent over a year on it. And, some things in there are, really, really good. None of us got what we wanted, and that we all worked together and did what's right for the town. And I think as a whole, the town got a good document.
Wasn't that the one that the town hired that lady,
Salzburg.
That was
the
the,
original
cost
one.
$15,500?
that was
And it ended
Solzberg.
up,
Salzburg.
and it ended up, there was too much
Yes.
stuff in it.
That's the one we worked on after.
Yeah.
I would like to add
Yeah, go
something.
ahead, Melanie.
My name is Melanie Whiteley, I was part of this committee, and Dave, I would like to actually comment on something that you brought up. You expressed how beautiful the farm is on Route 7 and how you want to keep it rural forever and you would like to see it never change. That is exactly the example, one of the examples of one of the reason why we did make some revisions in this plan. The town needs to be very careful about, of course, all of us love seeing something rural and open fields and those sorts of things. However, we have to be mindful that people own property in this town and we can't restrict their right to sell, nor can we restrict their right to develop it if they choose, or pass it on to generations of families. So as much as I love rural land too, we need to be mindful from a town perspective that we can't limit landowners. And that is where, I think that's where we hear this restrictive term being thrown around, and that's where that's stemming from. We have to step back and look at, is it good for everyone, including the person owning the property? Because I don't think it's fair for someone to own 100 acres of land and to have someone the town come in and say, well, you can't develop and you can't sell and get as much as you can from your land if you've invested taxes and time and everything else into it. So it's from both sides.
Yeah.
We have to be mindful of that. And I'm not gonna get into back and forth, because that's not what this is, and that's what the public hearing is about.
And
But it's where that stems from that as well.
This occurred up at the town of Malta at exit 12. Everybody goes up the North Way and looks to the left at exit 12. There was a vast horse farm in there. And the town wanted to keep it rural. The landowners wanted to sell it. They couldn't. They created a preservation corporation to try to preserve as much of the land through private ownerships and donations. And so they protected a lot of it. They couldn't zone out the development, but they used their community resources the best they could to try to preserve and protect as much of the open space that they could, but knowing that they couldn't just zone out or create a zone to eliminate the future development of the parcel. It just wouldn't be, especially in our town, it just wouldn't be fair to the property owners if there's specific areas in the town that are environmentally critical areas or
areas that really should be deemed protected, then maybe a group should get together and create a plan for either, purchasing the development rights to them, and a lot of that occurred up there at that development on Exit 12. So that's one of the ways that the community can step forward and preserve the open space is through, purchasing of the development rights to the land.
So I just have one final thing, and maybe everyone can see this now. That when we did this comprehensive plan, we had very talented people that went through this, and they understood exactly what this town was dealing with, this comprehensive plan. The neighbor, we looked at these maps exactly just like this. We talked about it and we discussed it. We discussed, as you can imagine, every line of every sentence. Like I said, it might not be perfect. Kudos to Jennifer. She caught one thing after another, after another, after another, and any corrections we can make, typographical or indexes or contents or whatever, it's, should be done. But as you can see, these folks here on this committee did a wonderful job going through and discussing exactly what they want. Is that what we want in this town here? So, and this is a comprehensive plan that was created by these folks. So,
I just asked you a question about what's coming next, the resolution 19. What does it mean, a negative declaration for the comprehensive plan?
It's just, it has to do with the seeker review, the Environmental Quality Review Act review. And part of that process is the town board has to decide if there's any negative impacts, any substantial negative impacts on the environment due to whatever resolution you're passing.
Thank
A
you.
negative declaration would say they don't see any
Okay.
substantial negative impacts.
I'm Jennifer Blessing, member of this comprehensive plan. I would like to mention that Section 11 goals very distinctly still has preserve the rural character of Princetown, remain farm friendly. We were not removing anything that would take away from the farming character of this town. We also did realize though, and recognize the fact that it's based on zoning laws and things like that as to what can be done if people sell that property off. It's not up to us to say you can and cannot do this. So that was the approach that we took.
I would like to request and ask the town board to defer approval of this plan tonight until the two missing councilmen can get together with you a month from now and talk about it. For one reason why I spoke tonight is because over a period from 2008 to 13, a 6-year period, two plans were, the plan, Melanie mentioned the plan of 2011 and then finally resulted in the plan of 2013. Hundreds and hundreds of hours were put in by volunteer people who were seeking to serve the best interests of the town of Princetown. And that's section 13 that's in the 13 plan, 13 pages, contains the nitty-gritty of how to achieve these goals, whereas the new plan doesn't have the nitty-gritty of how to achieve these goals. And we're lacking.
That's exactly.
All it does is just state the goal.
Yeah.
And that's, we gotta have some backbone backup to it.
You get that from the zoning.
Well,
That's where that comes from.
well,
Yeah.
You
That's
can't
right.
dictate what people want to do with their property.
no, that's not it. I'm not talking about dictating at all. No, I'm not talking about dictating. I'm talking about
The
That's what it
comprehensive
having some meat
plan
to
for
it.
a town
Yeah.
is designed to be general.
guide.
And as it does, it acts as a guide, and the specifics come with zoning.
Okay.
Well,
If there's areas, Dave, if you're, serious, if there's areas that you'd like to see the zoning changed, that's a whole nother issue for the town to approach for a zoning change in a specific area, adding, that has nothing to do with, the comprehensive plan.
Right.
If there's areas that, like I said, either in your critical environmental areas or sensitive, areas that need to be protected, there are a number of ways to try to achieve changing it, and one of them is buying the rights. A second one is to change the zoning. And that would be a process like any other zoning change in the town. Go to town board, review a thorough zoo, through the ZRC, and doing it through the zoning. That's the only way, the law would be created to protect it.
I agree, totally agree, yeah, okay.
Couple things over here on the original plan, why there was so much controversy over it. It singled out properties in our town as to how they could be, if I'm not mistaken, Doug, maybe you can help me on this, if I'm not mistaken, it singled out properties by name as to what could be done with them, if they could change their windows or the painting that has to be done on the building. I went up personally myself and talked to this Salzburg that helped create this plan, and I know the reasons why the plan ended up as it did. I'd rather not get into it, but she explained to me what transpired at that time. So these were some of the things that the people in the town whose properties were singled out certainly did not want that in the plan. So that was one big problem that we had with the original plan, singling out people's properties, what they can and cannot do with it, as getting down to what color they could paint their building.
They wanted them registered on the historical registry,
Yes.
is what the original plan said, and
Under
specific properties.
historical, you have to get permission
Correct,
to do all of these things,
correct.
and that created a firestorm at the time. That was one of the problems with it. As far as the fire departments, there is another fire department, there's 4 in our town, if I'm not correct. Am I correct, Wes?
Versus veterans.
There's Rotterdam Fire District 5, Potterville, Pattersonville, and Dwaynesburg covers a portion of Skyline Drive.
The thing was with the Cocos, okay? The one that was the chairman of the planning board shut it down because of our water for the town of Princetown. Comes right down through there, okay? That was another deal too. Remember that one?
There is a couple other things that was in that plan, which was a hamlet. That was presented to the county. I went to the county and asked them about a hamlet in this district, and if you remember, there was quite a controversy over that. First off, a hamlet has to go someplace. And the county certainly said over here, this is no place for a hamlet with Route 7 and the truck stop, and all of the things that were done with sidewalks that was supposed to be done, and the business owners were supposed to pay for it. The county shot that down completely. They said that is not gonna happen in this town, in this area, because of Route 7 being a state highway. And if you look at hamlets in other towns, they go someplace, they'll go to a park, or they'll go to a community center, a little shopping area. There's nothing like that in Princetown over here that would warrant a hamlet, and the county wanted to have no part of it. They said absolutely not. Now, we do have that on file here, that report. Schenectady County Legislature looked at it, and they said absolutely not. And we always wanted to have a park here, but we certainly, the town of Princetown certainly does not have the money to spend $200,000 or $300,000 on a park and purchasing the land, even though it was just sold now to the county, this land next to us. So that was not going to happen. We did pass a resolution, if everybody remembers. The town is not going to accept any more new roads from developers, period. We can't afford that. The roads that we have now are the existing roads. If anybody comes in and they want to put in a development, they're gonna have to maintain the roads. The town of Princetown cannot take it over. We do not have a town tax. So we cannot afford, these roads that we have now, these 4.5 miles of roads that we have, we certainly are strapped, cash strapped, to keep them in repair. And that is a tremendous drain on our budget every year. For I don't know, for the longest time, it was put on the back burner for obvious reasons. We just didn't have the money. Now we're trying to catch up, and we have been catching up, but it's just a never-ending battle with these roads. There's no tax base for it to support it. You know, everybody else in Princetown, they pay a county tax for our take care of our state and county roads. We're not getting anything from these other roads. And it's like I said, anybody that's been involved with the town over the years, whether you've been a council member or a supervisor, they can all tell you that this is a tremendous drain on our budget. And if we're gonna continue to be a tax-free town, we certainly cannot accept any more roads. And I know when Melanie was supervisor, they had asked off of Darrell Road to accept that little parcel in there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Sandy pulled it out and was brought up at the town board meeting, and you said, we can't afford to take
Oh,
over.
Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook.
You're talking about Meadowbrook?
Yes, and that was back then. So
Right.
we did pass this resolution this past year that we're not gonna accept any more roads. There's talk of a development coming in off from Route 7, or from Route 20 over to Darrell Road. They're gonna have to maintain the roads. If it's in the town of Princetown, we're gonna have to provide them water if it's in it's in that district. But we're not going to accept roads anymore. We just can't afford it, not to have be tax-free. And it's certainly not fair to the rest of the residents in this town to take on this burden without a tax. We're not even going to go out and provide water to out-of-district people because of the last incident that we had up on Darrell Road. What has transpired over that, they wanted the water. We went through all of the process to provide him water, and now he doesn't want the water, and it's getting to be a big controversy over it, and it's a legal matter now that I can't get into, but we're just not going to accept any more out-of-district users for water. The water is for Princetown and these districts over here. So we're trying to do everything we can to maintain a tax-free town, but, you know, like I said, we just can't start accepting roads and do all of these things and expect to put in a hamlet, which is not gonna happen. Like I said, the county, if anybody wants to see that report, it's available. I think Sandy still has it. You can FOIL for it, you know, and I think I still have it. One of us has it. I'm sure that I can look in the archives to find it. But anybody that wants it, they said absolutely not on Route 7 or on Route 20. Route 20 is that was proposed for a hamlet too, along with Route 7. Route 7 is a state road, and Route 20 is a US highway. That's not gonna happen there either. So there's no actual place to place a hamlet. So I guess that about covers that with what was in the old comprehensive plan, the original document that was created when Melanie was the supervisor, so before her, actually, started working on it before then. Went on for, I don't know, a year or two before that, and like I said, Doug said, spent a lot of money for this consultant.
$15,500. It was like throwing money down the drain.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Like I said, I went up and talked to her about it. I took a Saturday and drove up to her farm out of Scary to see why that document was created like it was. And I don't want to get into it. Go ahead.
I'd just like to revise my previous comments from what I heard from Melanie. Could there be like a sentence at the end, maybe that says these goals will be implemented by the Princetown Planning and Zoning Committee?
It's really not necessary, because if you look in town law and the way things are developed, that's the intent of a comprehensive plan. So you don't have to state it in the plan. It's the structure of the process.
I guess I was just stuck on the definition of plan, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, a comprehensive plan is meant to be a document that guides the zoning in a town. And so it's already, it's redundant to put that at the end because that's what it is, so.
Now, I might add, a comprehensive plan is only a guide.
It is
It's
a
not-
guide, and it's also very important to what you're saying, again, putting specifics in a comprehensive plan can get a town into legal issues.
Yeah.
You want the comprehensive plan to be as general as possible. You do not want specifics in it, so that you can take, the zoning can be taken from this. It's just a guide. It's not supposed to have specifics in, or shouldn't, like properties that should be historic, preserving open space, it's a very general document, and we, the 5 members of this committee, knew that is the goal of a comprehensive plan, and we are very careful to be general. And so that's where you'll see a lot of the revisions coming from.
And the plan was actually used, Doug brought it up when we were looking at solar, and we had no zoning, and we had to refer back to the
It's in the
plan
introduction.
to see what the guide was for the town, just to develop the zoning.
Mhm.
So that's exactly what it's meant for, and that's exactly what was recently happened with the town.
Just to clarify, the introduction actually does have a statement that says the comprehensive plan is the essence of zoning.
Yeah.
So it does actually refer to the zoning also.
Right in the introduction.
We all want to maintain rural character and open space and green space, and, we want to see the town develop gradually like it has in 200 years. There's certain soil conditions in this town that just does not allow major development to be profitable in the different districts that are in the town. There's, and our zoning is created to kind of stifle, the overdevelopment of the town. And it's working. What we have is working.
I might add that we did get our attorney did receive something from the county. They did not disapprove of the plan that was submitted. They did defer it to local consideration. There is no significant countywide or inter-community impact. So the county,
And that's county planning, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
So they have no issues with the
With
plan
the
itself.
document.
Yeah, everything.
they have no issues with it. So, is there any other comments on it? I think, any more comments? Jack, Melanie, any?
Just let them know that
And-
everything they were talking about, we did take into consideration. The people that were on it, some of them were on the other comprehensive plans. They knew exactly what the old plans were, and that was all taken into consideration when this was finished and turned over to the town board.
There's a fine line between implementing, certain provisions in the comprehensive plan and then it translating into local law, into the zoning law, which creates more of a tax, burden on the town itself. So, we're trying to keep the town tax free, it's like everybody knows, just like you said, Luke. And to create more of zoning laws is just gonna, over time, is gonna cost the town money that we don't have.
Like I said, the town's got a lot of things we've accomplished over the past few years over here. And I just, trying to protect the town from having a town tax, these are the things that we've done. And, like I said, we all know the problem with the truck stop down here, with what that creates, the roads in our town are, you know, that are the truck traffic. But I'm attending a meeting tomorrow morning with the Capital District Transportation Committee that I go to every meeting that they have, which is quarterly. So, and every meeting I bring up about what could be done about the truck stop down here to alleviate the traffic jam that we constantly see. If you live on this end of the town, everybody knows what a problem it is with the trucks going in and out, because that truck stop is so small, and we've got so much commercial property down in, with the industrial park, and the industrial park in Voorheesville, that, and this is the only truck stop in this area, and it's really not considered a truck stop by any standards. If anybody ever looks at a real truck stop, you know, that this is just like a peanut stand. Really, I don't even think there's room for 20, 30 trucks in there maybe. I mean, that's nothing. That's why we have this problem where they're coming into the town hall. You know, I thought we solved that problem, but if anybody drives in the driveway now, they'll see that one pulled in, tried to back out, and went over the lawn. So,
And look at the trucks going over Pangford Road 24/7.
yeah, they are. I
All
did
night.
talk to,
All
that was brought up too. Somebody called about that, and they wanted to know if they could restrict the truck traffic on Kangburn, Gifford Church Road, and Dunsville Road. I talked with the county about it. You know, it was brought up, maybe make it local delivery, because we've got the golf course there, and there's trucks going in and out of there constantly. Tractor trailers going in and out of there, whether it's soda truck, beer trucks, what have you. And the county informed me that in order to do this, first off, Gifford Church is a state road. It's not a county road. They said when you restrict a road, the state has to be involved in it, and you have to have an alternative route for the traffic, for the trucks to go. What is the alternative route? Through Rotterdam, to get to the industrial park in Voorheesville, going over through Curry Road and out that way, which is gonna create more problems, going down Gilderman Avenue, trying to get under that underpass that way. You have to provide an alternative route. You just can't say, I don't want any more commercial traffic on this road. What's the alternative route? That's not gonna happen. We passed a resolution to lower the speed limit on Quackenbush Road. That's not gonna happen either. You know, that one, it's not, even though it's a county road, it has to be approved by the state. We already got the one back from Route 7 to reduce the speed limit on Route 7 here. And from 55 to, I think it was 40 or whatever, we just wanted it reduced. And because it doesn't change until it almost comes up to the Rotterdam line, and they rejected it. The state said no. So we're at their mercy on everything, and like I said, they told me you have to provide an alternative route if you want to restrict the road, and he said that's not gonna happen. So we can make all the complaints we want, and people can do, you know, get petitions signed, but that's, you know, what's the alternative to it, so. If it's a town road, we could do it. But we only have 4.5 miles of town roads. I think 3 of them go dead end. Anyway, is there any others for public hearing? Any more comments? Okay, we'll close up the public hearing at 8:11. Thank you all for your comments too. Like I said, I appreciate all the work that the committee did on the plan. Thank you again. Okay, meeting minutes. Is hereby resolved the meeting minutes of April 9th, 2019 regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Negative declaration for comprehensive plan dated February 7th, 2019. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Princetown hereby adopts a negative declaration dated 5/14/19 for the adoption of amendments to the comprehensive plan dated February 7th, 2019 of the town of Princetown and authorize the supervisor to sign a negative declaration. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Adoption of comprehensive plan dated February 7, 2019, be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the amended comprehensive plan dated February 7, 2019. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make
Before you finalize it, there's probably 2 points here seem to be just clerical errors. I mean, it looks like, 211 should have just been 21 for some reason. It's like, I think if you're gonna do it, you harm to just correct the clerical errors in your motion.
Okay, what are?
Right.
If I'm
Minor-
correct.
minor
I-
Contingent on correction of the clerical
Yeah,
error.
I don't know if you.
Clerical errors.
Number 1 and 3 were, to me, clearly clerical errors that can just be corrected.
Yeah.
The Pine Grove, adding Pine Grove and correcting the table of contents.
Yeah,
number.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the fire department?
It's
Along
really,
with Rotterdam Fire District number 5.
it's really not as Rotterdam, Princetown.
Yeah, I think she, just as like a reference name.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll add that in, I'll correct the table of contents that giving me issues. It was fine at one point, and apparently on the print, it was bad, so we'll get it fixed.
So I would make a motion
Everything
subject
was
to
21.
the corrections of number 1 and 3 on our list here.
So I have to say that again?
Not really, it's on the record.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. ZBA alternate appointment. Mary Jo Vincent was in Florida when we placed her back onto the ZBA as an alternate. She wasn't available to sign the oath book, so be it resolved that Mary Jo Vincent be adopted as the ZBA alternate with a term to expire 12/31/2021. Ms. Vincent was unavailable to sign the oath book. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Second? Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. General funds. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 82 through number 104 in the amount of $22,401.35. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Second. All right.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claim. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 37 through number 46 in the amount of $10,019.97. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Highway claims, it is hereby resolved the town board approves claims number 1 through number 3 in the amount of $2,537.41. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay. Council members, comments or concerns?
Have none.
I just wanted to thank all the members of the comprehensive plan. You guys did a good job. I'm the secretary for the ZRC, so I know what goes into making those documents and everything. So you guys worked really hard on it. So just wanted to let you know I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And that was it.
That's it?
Yeah.
I really don't have anything more. Sandy, you have anything you'd like to add?
I did give copies of the RISE quotes for the water. I didn't know if you wanted them to look at those, because you said it's gonna happen in June, you have to vote on it. To upgrade the LED lighting at the water
it's a grant, though.
plants, but you still have to spend the money ahead of time, right? Are you putting it on the June
It's
meeting?
not gonna, yeah, we'll put it on in June.
Okay,
Because it's
just
not gonna
making
be
sure.
done until June,
Okay.
late June.
Just making sure.
Thank you. I think that's it. I don't have anything else, and there's no executive session. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make the motion.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilwoman Laura,
Yes.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Yes. Well, I do have one other thing before we adjourn, but, too late? No, I gotta bring it up anyway. George Mead needs another helper for the water district. He's getting up in age, he wants to slow down. We do have Tom Guarini has tried to help him out, but he's not available. He drives school bus, and he did mention a name. I didn't talk with him yet, but I'd like to know if the town wants me to pursue it, and we can talk about it at the next meeting.
I've already talked to him and he would like the job.
I don't know if we want to mention a name yet without talking to him.
I'm fine with moving forward.
Okay. Then we'll, George, like I said, he definitely doesn't want to work 7 days a week anymore. And I certainly don't blame him. He's up in age, he's not feeling his best. Everybody knows he's had problems over the years, so I think we have to do what we can to help him out. I might add too that we did get him a truck after all of these years, him using his own vehicle, and we paid the truck off too. That's all taken care of. It was done in what, 4 months, Sandy?
Yes.
Yes, so that's all taken care of.
But what we have to do is we gotta get somebody too that can take over his job
Yep.
Mhm.
for the license.
Yes.
And you gotta find somebody for that. And I've been saying this for years.
Yeah, I've said it too.
He is one guy. If he dropped dead tomorrow morning, God forbid, you got nobody there. You're gonna end up with McDonald Engineering paying $150 an hour for them to come up here and run this show.
Yeah, I know.
And I've been saying this for how long? And I'm not putting George down. I'm just saying, that's
No, anything we can do to help him
totally
out.
right.
we
Maybe
have
the
to
new
do.
fella, you can send him to Cobblestone, that's where I went through those courses for the water. That's, maybe the new guy can get certified.
Are you
Huh?
still certified?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it then.
There's your guy, right there.
Thank everybody for coming, we appreciate it.
I used to
Thank you for all your comments.
You still have